the Sports Betting Network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Yes! Palm Readers Unite. Follow the money. Paulie Howard, Mike Paul, Mitch back tomorrow. Sirius XM Channel 158 live downtown Las Vegas from beautiful Circa Resort and Casino, CircaLasVegas.com. The champ, Derek Stevens, in studio to talk about contests in the NFL schedule. Tony Rizzo, live from Cleveland, do or die for the Cavs. Dennis Bernstein to talk pucks. Kelly Bidlin, PGA in 45 minutes. Win, lose, you cannot be serious. Props, picks, playoffs, a lot to get to. Maestro, we always got something to talk about. We'll get to the NFL schedule with the odds as well, and we'll touch on the Knicks beating the Celtics again. But all the fun started right when we got off the air with the nonsense with the NBA draft lottery again. Mathematically impossible what has happened going back since 1992 with this dog and pony show. Of course, Dallas, who loses their franchise player in one of the worst trades in NBA history or in sports. Oh, we'll help you out here and you get flagged. 1.8% chance. There's so many examples of this where how it just conveniently works out for some of these teams. And Charlotte, no soup for you. Washington, second best odds. You pick sixth. And Utah's never picked one. They have never improved either. Again, some of this stuff is just mathematically impossible. And Dallas gets there, 1.8%. San Antonio also moves up. The odds that it would come Dallas, San Antonio, Philly was 0.001%. Give me a break. And, of course, it worked out for Philly as well after another disastrous season where they even keep their pick. And they jump up to number 3 in a pretty good draft. And now the Spurs are in position with a ton of assets to get a marquee player. And then, I know the reports are Dallas said they're going to hold on to the pick. But certainly you could play ball if you're the Mavs because you have a short window here with AD and Kyrie hurt if you want to win right now, Maestro.
You'd go for Giannis.
Absolutely.
You would.
I would trade the pick if I'm Dallas.
Even though you think Flag's going to be 15 years and eight-time All-Star.
You take the under? Okay.
Yeah, I'll take the under.
You take the under?
Well, I don't know. It works out nice for the fan bases there, right? Save the fan base in Dallas.
Right.
Support the fan bases in Philly and San Antonio where you have strong fan. And these other places that don't have big fan bases, well, you fell down again.
I know. How am I supposed to improve? Yeah, they didn't have a sellout other than when Luka came back with the Lakers, Dallas. How am I supposed to improve if this is the Mickey Mouse format, right? Charlotte hasn't won a playoff series since 2003.
They're a soccer town.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it now.
Utah never improved. Timberwolves never improved. And everyone in the top 3 dropped, and the teams 10 and 11 move up. So this is just, I know people are also saying that, I don't want to use the F word, but it certainly, the whole thing stinks, and tinfoil hat guy checking in. But the other thing is people pointing out that moving up and what happened with Dallas and San Antonio, and then how you're going to get rid of this system entirely, where people are saying, well, this is what happens when you tank. And Silver hates this, and he's not going to reward teams that tank. And nobody tanked harder than Charlotte, Utah, and also Philadelphia down the stretch.
Well, Philadelphia is the number 1 tanker.
Absolutely.
And they get rewarded.
Yeah. Didn't work out for Philly. Oh, you're right about that. But the other two, no. But the big market and what happened with Philly, you're right. But this goes back. This was David Kahn when he was the general manager of the Timberwolves. When he was down in the top 3 with Utah and the Cavs. I told Kevin O'Connor, executive with the Jazz, we were toast standing on the stage when the 14-year-old joined us, Gilbert's son. The 14-year-old was not going to be denied in a league that has a habit of compelling storylines. He said that. He said that while he was working with the Timberwolves, and the odds, someone ran the odds about the Timberwolves going 0 for 11 and never moving up. 1 in 10,462. And they missed out on Shaq. They missed out on Kyrie. From 92 to 95, they had the best odds or the second best odds to get the number 1 pick. They only picked top 3 one time. And then to Khan's point about the habit of compelling storylines in the NBA, The Cavs lose LeBron. They immediately get the number 1 pick. The Pelicans lose Anthony Davis. They immediately get the number 1 pick. LeBron's coming back to Cleveland. Again, to help him out, they get the number 1 pick, which was Wiggins, and they traded that for Love. And then Luka, with the fan base furious and ready to riot, they trade Luka, and now they get the number 1 pick with a 1.8% chance. It looks terrible for the league. It looks horrendous.
Yeah, but nobody cares after today, Paul. They just go play the games tonight, and everybody will be happy. You're worried about Minnesota. They're on the doorstep of their second straight Western Conference Finals.
Oh, yeah.
Live in the moment,
Okay.
Paul. Live in the moment.
Oh, man.
Well, you have something to talk about now. What will Dallas do? Who's going to go after Freak? All that. Nice storylines.
Spurs top 4, 3 years in a row. It continues to work out for them.
Well, hopefully that team president can do something with it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Yeah. But Orlando in 93, 1.5% chance. The Cavs in 2014, 1.7%. The Bulls in 08, 1.7%. Cavs in 2011, 2.8%. Atlanta last year, 3%.
How often do you hit a 50 to 1, 70 to 1, and 80 to 1?
Yeah, good call.
How often
I know.
do you hit that?
It's ridiculous. They just I do away with the system. And I know a lot of people said this as well. Why is Dallas even in this thing? If they beat Memphis, they're in the playoffs. So a team that was in the play-in, that won a game and went to Sacramento, gets the number 1 pick, as opposed to these doormats and all these terrible teams here with Charlotte, Utah, Washington, and the list goes on and on and on.
That's interesting. If you're in the play-in, you're not in the lottery.
I think that's a joke. Yeah. I know. Zach Harper, who was on with VSiN, Mad Dog Radio with Dustin Sweetelson and Patrick Maher. He's with SiriusXM NBA and also The Athletic on what he's hearing about this phony system.
The immediate reaction that I got in a lot of group chats I saw online is this isn't fair, right? And not just that Dallas got it. It's, hey, Utah's really bad. Hey, Washington's doing like kind of the good type of rebuild. They've got a lot of good young players. They're doing the right type of rebuild. 3 years in a row now, the worst team in the league has gotten the 5th pick in the draft, I believe, right? Like a lot of things of like, hey, this isn't fair. This isn't done right. We need lottery reform. And I've been for lottery reform for a while, but I'm a believer in the unweighted lottery. You miss the playoffs, you got a 1 in 14 chance. Like I think it eliminates tanking, all that stuff. I don't believe in the idea that it would lead to teams tanking out of the playoffs. I just don't think that's a real thing. Maybe it would happen like once out of every 10, 15 years. Other than that, I just don't think it's a reality. I think teams will go for the playoffs, go for that playoff revenue. And there's no incentive to keep losing games. You improve the product through, February, March, April, which is we're getting to a point where some of these games are truly unwatchable and you're not discounting the prices on the tickets at all. So to me, I think lottery reform is going to be something that is at least heavily discussed. I don't know if the league is going to take it all that seriously, but tanking's an issue. And if it's not leading to guys or to teams getting the number 1 pick or any kind of lottery luck, then what are they doing it for?
Yeah, well, I'm for lottery reform as well. And I would go back up to the 25% with the worst record and go back up there as the 14%, what they're at now. So, I mean, some of this stuff is just ridiculous. Again, it's mathematically impossible. And I grew up in Minnesota. I remember the Timberwolves, and it's like, oh, we're going to get Shaq. Oh, we can get this guy. And you can't move up 11 times in a row. And then the GM actually comes out and says, oh, we have no shot. The kid with tumors who's 14 years old, we're dead on arrival, right? And that's how it turned out to be as well and how it worked out. But it's just, look at these numbers. It's 1%, 1%, 2%. Oh, my God. But you're going to continue to have tanking, though, because, as Mike said, it worked out for Philadelphia. And if they were to get jumped by 2 teams, they were going to lose their pick. But they moved up as well. So even though they got jumped by Dallas and San Antonio, as Tim Bontemp said from ESPN, imagine what they're thinking with Morey, with the Sixers, where you come out Dallas number 1, Spurs number 2. I mean, we have no shot. Oh, here we are, number 3, which would have been a disaster now. So even if Dallas keeps the pick and goes flag, which they'll probably do, then San Antonio either can take Harper or they can move the pick and try to get Freak or try to get someone else and make some moves. So just incredible. I love the reaction, too, where we can't agree on anything, but everyone was so pissed when they saw this. Of course, it's going to be Dallas at 1.8%. and save things for the organization and the franchise and Nico. So now when you...
Yeah, Nico, he can't go wrong.
I know, right? Yeah, right.
He can't screw this up.
So essentially now the pick would include Flegg. So now it could be off the hook. But you got Kyrie out for the season, and who knows if AD can stay healthy. Smarter bets start here and last all year long with VSiN Pro. Limited time, slashing the price of our annual subscription. Normally $240, now just $199. When you sign up today, we'll throw in 2 extra months for free. 14 months, VSiN Pro, less than 50 cents a day. Promo code PRO, 14 months of access. With every best bet, every host, every guest, the betting splits, DraftKings and Circa 24/7 live video, and full show replays on the Watch app. VSiN.com/subscribe, code PRO. Lock in 14 months for just $199. VSiN.com/subscribe. Paul Bovey, Knicks fan, was at the game. He's on the show tomorrow. He said the last time the Knicks were favored to win the Eastern Conference was 1998. Makes sense. They haven't made the conference finals since 2000. The Knicks are plus 135 now. 3-1 series lead. What was more shocking, the lottery or what happened again to Boston and how it ended? The Celtics have led every game by 14 points. They're down 1-3, 3-1. They've led every game by 10 at the half. They're down 3-1. They've been up 20 points in 3 of the 4 games. They're down 3-1.
Told you first half, Paul.
They
run them out in the first half. That's a surprising third quarter, though.
Yes.
They got blitzed like that in the third quarter.
37-23.
That's shocking. That was the most shocking thing of the night.
Yes. And Brunson went off, and Tibbs stuck with the starters. And again, Boston just forgets how to play basketball. Let's not pass. Let's jack threes. Porzingis with the mysterious illness. Hey, I just paid $6 billion for the team. Tatum's out for the year. I have a $500 million payroll. I don't own the arena, and I'm walking into a $500 million payroll and all these injuries as well, and I can't even make the conference finals. More on the games tonight. Mitchell at shoot-around. Can the Cavs keep their season alive? Coming up on Follow the Money.
Oh, look! Oh, wow, look at that! Derek, what's the guarantee? Derek?
Time to make history. Millions are calling. Look for the Circa Million and Circa Survivor Guarantee on May 22nd, 2025. 2 ways to win. Millions guaranteed. 100% payback.
So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah, came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it, it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
On the next, a numbers game 24 hours away from golf's second major of the year, the PGA Championship at Quail Hollow. AJ Scholes joins us to give us all of his golf picks, plus picks across the sports betting landscape. Will Hill on the NBA playoffs and Major League Baseball, all of his bets. Jason Weingart from Under a Cloud of Smoke with all of his bets, as well as our senior NBA analyst, Jonathan Von Tobel. Was the lottery rigged? What are his plays in the NBA? All of that on a numbers game, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, right here at VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Win-lose coming up. Kelly Bivlin to preview the PGA Championship. In light of the big upset again last night with the Knicks, they're the favorites to win the Eastern Conference. Pacers plus 180. You are the lowest spot by 60 and 70 cents on the adjusted series price. Cavs laying 8 tonight. Again, Mitchell was at shoot-around. We'll talk to Tony Rizzo, go live to Cleveland coming up in 90 minutes. Most places are at 330 or 320 adjusted series price. You had a good point during the break, which you'll get to in a second. But even if Indiana loses the game tonight, how big of a dog can they be in Game 6? I get 3 kicks at the can here. I've been the better team. I'm up 40 at halftime of the last game. I won twice in Cleveland. I'm not scared. And I'm minus 260 at Circa now. And I'll tell you this, Indiana's going to beat the Knicks, too, if that's the Eastern Conference Finals. And it's wild how this could... If Oklahoma City blows this, by the way, the Knicks have home court throughout if they keep winning.
What were the Pacers to win the East, 14-1?
When?
What were they going into this to win the East?
I took 19.
Before the playoffs started.
Oh, when did I take 19? I took 19 during the first round.
Okay.
So
plus 210 here at Circa now to win the East.
Yep. Good price.
That's not a bad price. Which is reflected in the series price right now.
Mm-hmm.
Only 260.
Yeah. And then 125 to 1 to win it all in April, which a lot of people sent in the tickets yesterday. Probably 60, 50 to 1 to win the East. But now if Boston's going to be out of the picture, and then Indiana and New York be a high-scoring series, but I think the Pacers will win that, even without home court. Plus 180 at DraftKings. Mike said plus 210 at Circa. You want any part of Boston? 10 to 1 to win the East.
750 here. Plus 750.
Wow. Laying 4.5
at home.
How are they laying that tomorrow? Tatum's going to be out for the year. What's the holdup, by the way? We still don't know. Just
he's going to be out the rest of the next year, maybe.
Yeah. Looks like Achilles to me, right? But
we still don't know. There's nothing official on this.
Horford looks old. Holiday looks old. Porzingis has a mysterious illness. Jaylen Brown can't dribble or shoot. I have nothing else to go on. What am I going to do? Derek White has to erupt. Pritchard?
We couldn't get enough of them on the Olympics team, and now look at them.
Yeah, right. So they blow another big lead. So we'll see what they're made of. But again, the Knicks have been so good in the second half and shutting down Boston, which I don't think Boston's going to win tomorrow either. But what you say during the break? Cavs laying 8 tonight.
8?
Yeah.
8?
I don't get it. I took Indiana again.
They were down 41 at the half.
And who knows with Mitchell?
That's with all 3 of them playing.
Yep.
They were down 41 at the half, Paul.
Right.
Now you got Mitchell questionable. I get it, they're switching venues. But is that dramatic? I mean, I would have thought they'd have been about 5.5 here tonight.
Yep. Garland banged up. And then see what Mobley can give you as well, man, and Hunter. But they've been so bad defensively. But then again, I have to give Indiana credit. As Indiana, again, 41-16 since January 1st. They play so damn fast and bombs away if the threes are going in. It's a good night. And there's nothing you can do to slow this team down with all the guys they have that can score. OKC minus 160 to win the West. Minnesota plus 220. Golden State now 60 to 1. Curry will not play tomorrow. Minnesota laying 11.5. Good call. You said it wouldn't be a problem. No. Ant was aggressive in the second half after the halftime pep talk worked out. It was great, but Ant's been awesome. Randall's been great. McDaniels played well. He cashed a big ticket
both of them
that we'll talk about.
Both of them scored 30.
Yep.
You see that? You see it was the first time 2 T-Wolves had scored 30, both scored 30 in a playoff game since Garnett and Cassell.
Is that what it
Yeah,
was?
that was
Really?
it, yeah.
Okay, Cassell with the after the celebration with the I got onions. Okay. So tonight, this was up to 10.5. Now OKC is 9.5, 221. Series tied at 2. Joker looks exhausted. I've never seen him play this bad before. Back-to-back-to-back games. He's missing critical free throws.
I think he's also forcing out jumpers, too.
That could be, yeah, right. But the other thing is, and you might look at this and say, they've thrown everything at OKC, so they know how to react and know what to do, but this zone is clearly giving them problems. In the last game, Denver played zone on 60 plays. Dort was on the bench. Dagnaut had to go to Wallace to bail him out and knock down some big shots, in which he did. But since they had that Game 2 performance when they set the record for most points in a half and scored 149, they couldn't do anything in Denver, which I'll cut everyone some slack what happened in Game 4 with the ridiculous early start after the late game Friday and overtime. But I don't trust OKC here, even though they had the big lead in Game 1 and they were awesome in Game 2. That I just think Denver can make it ugly, muck it up, and still, even though he struggled, that you have Joker. And SGA hasn't played well. And SGA is forcing it. And I think I wanted Williams to take the shots when the game on the line in Game 3. And SGA is also settling too much as well. Another thing, Chet Holmgren, come on. People are all over this guy as well, but he has not delivered, and he's been a disappointment. And it started with missing the free throws in Game 1, and he's had his issues in this series as well. So I'm with you. I think 10's too much, and certainly 8 is too much in both games. I like both dogs. Total all the way down to 221 after we got as high as 232 earlier in the series.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying I'm going to play the other side here because I don't think Denver can come back in this series. It's probably a pass for me tonight, Paul, unless I take a little peek at the first half under here.
Okay. On the prop analyzer at VSiN.com, Dort 8-1 under run with assists. Porter 8-1 under run with assists. Caruso 11-3 under with his threes. Supporting cast has to be better. They usually are at home, but OKC, good size favorite now to win the title after they got the win in Denver. And then how many times can we tell you that Hellebuck blows, right? So that's the only hockey game tonight. Heiskanen's back. Last 9 road playoff games, he's 1-8 with a 5.20. Pulled in 4 of the last 5. This year on the road in the playoffs, 0-4 with a 6.65. And as you pointed out, how many, 9 of the last 10, he's allowed at least 4 goals?
At least 4. This year, every game 5.
Yep. How is this $1.45, $1.50? It was $1.40 yesterday.
It moved 10 cents with the Heiskanen news. Now we're up to $1.50.
Do you have any confidence in this guy on the road and Winnipeg to tie it?
No.
No.
I have no.
Are you?
What's the Dallas team total? It can't be 2.5.
Well, minus 210. I know, but it's right.
It should be minus $8, 2.5.
Yeah.
I mean, you can just, what do you call this? Laddering it up. Bet the 3.5 and the 4.5.
3.5 is plus 115.
How about 4.5?
There should
they
be
offer that?
Yeah. There should be a prop up. Will he finish the game?
That's what I said.
That's another one.
How many road games would he complete in the series?
Right. After getting pulled.
You'd have had to put it at 1.5, right? Because you don't know that there's going to be 3. He got there though. He got there. Gave up the goals late in that game.
Mm-hmm. I'll check on 4.5 too. That's good. And then you can also lay. Forget about the puck line. Lay 2. So a lot of people laid 2.5 in the last game, plus 350.
Nice. 2-2 there in the third.
Yeah,
and you get the job done.
Yeah, but it's like eventually the dam's going to break, and this St. Louis was no problem taking him out, and how well that paid.
St. Louis scored 3 goals in a minute in that game.
Yeah, but it's your Kershaw comparison and what you said was spot on yesterday.
Several people reached out to me.
Who did they have another example?
No, they said you got it right.
I think you did.
Connor Kershaw.
Yep. Over 4.5 is plus 270. Stars team total. I don't mind that either. And you can lay minus 2.5 for the game if you want to do that as well. How surprised were you with what happened at Edmonton? I'll tell you, that was a great job by Skinner. But as Jonathan Davis mentioned, his track record, games 4 through 7. He's 11-1 in the series. The only loss was Game 7 last year, the Stanley Cup final. He's allowed 2 goals or fewer in 10 of the 12 games with 2 shutouts. He shut down the Knights.
Let me give you a few stats on this series, Paul. The trio of Barbashev, Hurdle, and Howden combined to score 78 regular season goals for the Knights. They have been held scoreless through 4 games. The Knights' 6 primary defensemen combined to score 35 regular season goals, with 17 of them belonging to Hanifin and Theodore. That group has only 1 goal in this series. Their lack of scoring depth is further compounded by the fact that Jack Eichel, who led the Knights with 94 points in the regular season, also hasn't scored in the series. And leading goal scorer Pavel Dorofeyev, who missed the first 2 games, has also been blanked in Edmonton. That was all one-way traffic last night.
Yeah, it was.
And at no point did you ever think the Knights, once it became 2-0, had any shot in that game.
I know.
Right? It was just over.
Yeah.
I never played third period unders. I played it under.
Did you? Yeah.
The Knights aren't going to score. If Edmonton gets a 4th, they're just going to shut it down. And it was nothing.
Aiden Hill's a lunatic, by the way.
Is he?
You
think a lunatic is Leonard?
How many times? No. But
let's talk to them. They're playing the wrong goalie.
Kane gets cross-checked into Hill.
And
then Hill goes after and punches him. There's no penalty? He's done that at least 5 times in the playoffs where the guy loses his mind.
And the Knights got the power play off that goal.
I couldn't believe it. I know. Then they got the power play. Yeah. They called a penalty on Kane. He got cross-checked into him. And every time there's someone standing, they're not in the crease. Someone will be standing, he'll take them and whack them with the stick.
He hits him with the stick.
Yeah. He doesn't get a penalty. And he's going after people, and it's like Ron Hextall. Guy's nuts. NBA playoffs heating up, and our partner, ProfitX, offering the best odds all playoffs long. Peer-to-peer sports exchange available in 40-plus states. Download ProfitX today. Code VSiN. Get up to $200 in cash over your first month. Win-lose up next.
They're off.
If you're serious about betting this season, it's time to go pro. Right now, you can score 14 months of VSiN Pro for just $199. That's 2 extra months on us. We're talking daily best bets, exclusive splits from DraftKings and Circa, full access to the VSiN Watch app, and all of our betting guides, including the Kentucky Derby and the big one, the NFL betting guide. But don't wait, this offer's gone May 31st. Head over to VSiN.com/subscribe and use the code PRO, P-R-O, to lock it in and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
last night? Wow, winning. Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
Game leaders, always entertaining on a nightly basis in the NBA. Most points, Randall, 6-1. Most rebounds, McDaniels, 40-1. Most assists, Edwards, 6-1. Knicks plus 260. Outright. They're dancing in the streets in New York. Edmonton by shutout, 9-1. Henrique first goal, 38-1. We did it again. Vegas, 9-1, first period overrun in the playoffs. Along with Carolina, first period under. 4 games in the series, 1 total goal in the first period in Carolina.
You don't even have to worry about those.
No.
You have to sweat them.
No, you're right. Vegas, piece of cake. 9 will come right back with it tomorrow. Skinner again, games 4 through 7 in the playoffs, 11-1. The loss was in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final last year. He's allowed 2 goals or fewer, 10 of the 12 with 2 shutouts. What do you do if he plays well tomorrow? Do you go back, you keep him in there?
I let him go till he loses the game.
I like that. I like that.
Hot goalie.
Let's say they win 4-2. Keep Skinner in there.
Let him start the first game of the Western Conference. He was your goalie all year. You're number one.
I know. He was bad. 2 horrific games against L.A., but they hung him out to dry. Gostisbehere, first goal, 30-1. Walker, anytime goal, 11-1. Svechnikov, last goal, 12-1. Apologies, they got us. Cardinals plus 150. They've won 9 in a row. What's going on with St. Louis? What a story. St. Louis and the Twins kicking ass and taking names. Mets 130 up to 160. Skeens was solid. Bullpen comes in. You know what happened. Yankees 130 up to 155. Ice cream. Condolences, Maestro. Angels plus 190. Padres bullpen all of a sudden can't get me out. What gives? 5-3 in the ninth. They blow it. 1 out.
Gives up Suarez. Roberto Suarez comes in. Gives up a single with 1 out in the ninth. I think in game the Angels were 19-1 going into the ninth, down 5-3.
All right. I buy it.
I saw a number. I was looking around. Hedged my bet. 2 out of 3 in the parlay. I said, Suarez has been money. 1 out, gives up a single. Walks the next 4, Paul. Schilt. Didn't know whether to spit or wind his watch. After he walked the tying run in, then we came out and got the change.
Yeah.
Then you get an out and then a grand slam. 9-5. There she blows.
Yep. It's terrible.
The Angels took money last night.
Yeah.
Money came in on the Angels.
Yep. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in, we'll put you on. Here's where the dog has got the cat. He won't allow the cat to leave the yard. They have a nice backyard, and he's trying to climb the fence, and I get down. No, you can't do it. Yeah, you have to stay here. You're not allowed to go over there. And he's the watchdog the whole time. And the cat watches a piece of him here, wants to wrestle a little bit. But every time he jumps on that fence, is ready to clear it, the dog comes in and saves the day and says, "No, Matumbo." No, you can't go. Knocking you down. That's awesome. One lose some here. The other day, I'm at the grocery store. I'm walking, and I eat a couple items, right? And there's this guy in the corner, and he's sitting in a scooter. Older guy, and he's tattooed all over the place. Face tattoos, and he's screaming and F words, and he's on the phone, and he's off, and he's like, he's not shopping. I'm like, are they going to kick this guy out? He's not doing anything. He's just sitting in the scooter, and he's yelling at people, and he's, he's a scary-looking fellow. 2 days ago, I'm at the D, and I love the D, and I'm at the cage, and there he is. He's got a cane, no scooter, though. And I look over, and I can't mistake him because he's yelling. He's got the tattoos on his face and everywhere. And he pulls out $9,000 in chips. And he's screaming at the ladies, okay, count it out. Count it at $2,000. Okay, give it to me. And they give him the $9,000 cash. He goes, okay, thank you. And then he goes back and he pulls out more chips. The smaller stuff. You never judge a book by its cover.
No.
But that was more, the draft lottery makes more sense than the odds are that this guy would be walking around with 9,000 in chips after what I saw at the grocery store.
Did he recognize you from the Kroger?
No, he didn't. I didn't bother to say hello to him at the grocery store. I just couldn't believe what was going on. And the bad beat, Padres led 5-3 in the ninth, as Mike mentioned. Tough one on Carolina, Washington under as well. That was 2-0 in the third period. Want to know where the money's really going? Unlike other sources, our splits come straight from Circa and DraftKings. Circa takes huge bets from pro bettors. See the percentage of bets First percentage of handle on every game across every major sport, helping you make smarter, more informed bets. Get VSiN's exclusive betting splits as little as $9.99 for your first month at VSiN.com/subscribe. Let's try to keep giving out the winners here. Right back with a couple props in hockey. Tomorrow again, first period over, VGK in Edmonton. Little juicy, $1.70, but you don't pay the juice if you win. Let's make it 10 out of 11. Also, this has won all 4 games. Anderson saves under 21.5. I've been saying this since the series started. How is Washington going to generate any offense against Carolina? We ran down the shot disparity yesterday, attempts and shots on goal. This has won all 4 games. Right back, Anderson under 21.5. I didn't play Thompson saves over after I lost game 3 at 1. Carolina peppered him. It was a blitzkrieg for much of the game. But Anderson under 21.5 saves as well. And again, first period under. Now, you might say some funky things could happen. It's 3-1 Carolina. Washington goes home. Maybe they get a boost from the fans, but the writing's on the wall. Carolina's too good. And there's nothing Washington can do. Ovechkin finally lit the lamp. But, Carolina, stay out of the box. Number 1 kill. Still, you're going to be fine. They just can't do enough offensively. They had a 4-minute power play and didn't have a shot on goal.
No shots on goal.
Unbelievable, right?
What was Thompson's total last night? Shots
26.5?
Way over.
33. Yeah, flew over. So, first period under in Carolina. First period over in Vegas. And Anderson saves under 21.5. Hellebuck's 22.5 tonight. That's risky. I don't know. That one's tough. And OKC 9.5, 221. Can you believe what they did to the Minnesota Vikings? We'll get to the schedule and what's been released in the odds in 10 minutes. The Vikings are playing back-to-back international games in different countries for the first time in history. September 28th, they play the Steelers in Ireland. October 5th, they play the Browns in London. So they're going to have 7 true road games. And it's ride or die with McCarthy, your guy. How about what they're doing to him here? I can't believe they agreed to that as well. The article said, well, they've only won once at Heinz Field, and they've only won once in Cleveland since 1990. Well, the travel's going to kill me here, though. And I'm over there back-to-back weeks.
You get the advantage of the second week that you don't have the major travel, right, when they play the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
You could argue that. I think overall, and they've got some they don't have to play cold weather games, really. You play those cold weather cities earlier in the schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a way to look at this, say the Vikings got a favorable schedule, even though there's a lot of travel there. In my opinion. We'll just see. I mean, it's all going to come down to McCarthy.
That's right.
They put the whole franchise on this kid. Yep. This is O'Connell. This is what he wanted, right?
Yep.
The quarterback whisperer. So now we'll see if the kid can perform.
Yep. They announced this, too. Well, you got good sources. You called the Black Friday game.
Yep.
And then also they're going to do the tush-push game. November 10th, Monday night, Eagles go to Lambeau. The writing's on the wall with this, too. They're going to ban the tush-push.
You think so?
Absolutely. How they set that up. What is this? Is this David Kahn here? We got storylines in the NFL now, too? How they plan this out? You said this off-air as well. This isn't good for anybody.
No.
The Week 16 doubleheader on Fox is Eagles-Commanders and Bears-Packers. But what does it go up against?
3 college football playoff games. Remember last year, Notre Dame Friday night? That's the Friday night game, and then you got the 3 games on Saturday.
Yep.
I wish the NFL would leave that Saturday alone. It's tough when you spread out 3 games, and then you get maybe 1 game at night. But the doubleheader on Saturday you're going right up against the college football.
You got lucky, though, because SMU Penn State was a blowout.
Early.
But, right. And so was the Ohio State game. But you shouldn't have NFL going against college football playoff games.
No.
And they're going to do that again.
Ohio State, we thought was going to be a great game with Tennessee.
That's right. Yeah.
Didn't happen.
That was over in the first half as well. I know. But that's I'm glad you mentioned that off air. A lot of people are saying they got to stop doing this. And that's what happens Week 16 on that Saturday with that doubleheader on Fox going against a tripleheader. The other matchups are out as well with the international games. And more leaked out while we got off the air. Right when we got off the air, they announced one of the Christmas games, Chiefs and Broncos. So,
1 o'clock. 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 1 o'
We'll run that down with the schedule. Where and what you're thinking with the contest. Where are all the Lions? No, there's no Lions games yet. The Bears better be good because we're stuck with them in a lot of national TV games and standalone games. Eagles are the champs. Fine, don't have a problem with
That's why no Lions. Ben Johnson was the show.
Still, they're exciting. They're not going to fall off a cliff. You're not going to jimmy the Lions on these prime time games, but it's all Ben Johnson and the Bears?
Yeah, they're a local team.
Kelly Bidlin coming up next. A plethora of PGA Championship picks. This guy's very popular, but with good reason. We'll go top 5, top 10, outrights, and matchups coming up on Follow the Money. Sirius XM Channel 158, live downtown Las Vegas. CircaLasVegas.com.
What's the guarantee? Eric?
Time to make history. Millions are calling. Look for the Circa Million and Circa Survivor Guarantee on May 22nd, 2025. 2 ways to win. Millions guaranteed. 100% payback.
Your favorite VSiN shows and personalities are now available to download as podcasts. Catch every hour of our live broadcast with VSiN Best Bets, or find your go-to show and download it directly. Get instant reactions to last night's games, sharp analysis on today's biggest matchups, and everything in between. Whether you're commuting, working out, or just catching up, VSiN lets you take the action with you wherever and whenever you want. Search VSiN on your favorite podcast platform and get in on the action with VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We'll get back to the NFL in 10 minutes. We'll talk a little golf here in 30 seconds with Kelly Bidlin. Breaking news, Jason Tatum underwent successful surgery to repair a ruptured right Achilles tendon. No timetable available for his return. Hits just keep on coming for the Celtics. So this is a bad run here. Curry, Kyrie, Tatum, out for a long, long time. Kelly,
you'd only rest these guys during the year and manage the load. We wouldn't have these injuries.
Yeah, right. Kelly Bidlin joins us now on the Progressive Guest Line to talk PGA. It's with long shots and a lot of picks here, my friend. Good to talk to you. Fill us in on the course and the weather. Going to be wet, it looks like.
Yeah, it's been real gross out there the first couple of days. Caught a couple player interviews here today of just they haven't even been able to get out there. Justin Thomas was saying he hasn't even gotten out there to take a shot. We saw the video going viral yesterday of Hideki, I don't know, putting in rain, which I don't really know how that helps you because you're not going to be putting through puddles while they're playing in the actual tournament. But hey, whatever gets you there. It looks like we're going to be a little more quiet on Thursday. Looks like the rain will slow down a little bit then, but it's in the forecast all weekend, fellas. So it's something to keep an eye on. Look, I think for some, we just got kind of tee times coming down today and match pairings coming down today. So that's something to keep in mind. Just think, especially if you're out there betting first round leaders, that's something you're going to want to check back in on a Wednesday night. Before you bet those. That's usually when I go and bet those. I'll usually bet a couple, 2 or 3 each tournament, but you want to do it as close to tee times as possible so you've got a real good feel of what that weather is going to be like. As far as the course goes, though, Paul, this is Quail Hollow. We see this every year on the PGA Tour. It's one of the toughest, best courses that we see on the PGA Tour, usually holding the Wells Fargo Championship, now the Truist Championship. We just saw that a week ago at a different course. Had to switch that up so we could get the PGA Championship at Quail Hollow. But this is a long golf course. It will really test guys off the tee. This is for us that handicap golf, we talk about approach being the most important stat week in and week out, and that is true basically every week on the PGA Tour. But off the tee and your ability to drive the ball this week about as close as it gets at any other tournament to being the most important stat. So really looking at some guys that are long off the tee, and rough's supposed to be a little bit longer than what we normally see at Quail Hollow for the Wells Fargo. So you're going to want to keep it in those fairways.
Okay, and you have 3 outrights. And Rory, coming off the win at the Masters, has won here 4 times. What do you think of the price, and how about Rory's game and the history here plays a big factor?
Yeah, it really does. This is, look, a lot of course correlation here. And this is, you're talking about a golfer, the single most golfer with the correlated to success on a single golf course is Rory McIlroy at this golf course. And I really think when I was looking at what odds probably were going to be as this was rounding into form, and obviously we saw them a couple weeks out, and Scheffler just picking up a win is a big deal. But the big difference between Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy right now for this tournament, I'm not going to say Rory is for sure the better golfer than Scotty Scheffler, but for this tournament, it is the experience. Rory's won at this course 4 times before, including last year. He is very, very familiar and comfortable here at this golf course. And Scotty Scheffler, because of him wanting to play in a lot of the Texas tournaments in between the Masters and the PGA, does not see this course very often. I think he's only teed it up once here before. So that was a little bit of the difference to me of leaning towards Rory over Scotty this week.
Okay. How about DeChambeau and coming off a win?
Yeah, coming off a win. And that's what this sets it up. If you're a golf fan, the Masters was awesome. I expect this tournament, Paul, to be just as great. Maybe it's not as fun for some of us that bet it. You can't go as far down the board, in my opinion. It is really going to be the guys at the top of the board that probably come out with the win. But you just hit on it. Bryson coming off a win. Scotty Scheffler coming off a win. We just saw Rory win at the Masters. We saw Justin Thomas win a couple weeks ago in one of the elevated events, and T2 last week. A lot of guys at the top of their game coming into this tournament that I think you need to be aware of. So, yeah, I'm on DeChambeau, and really this is what I go through a lot of the PGA Tour stats when I'm kind of figuring out what to bet each week. DeChambeau over on Live, we're not getting as much of that statistical information, but You know what's a good stat? A lot of wins, and that's what he keeps doing here recently, and this course is perfectly designed for his game. You want distance, you want high ball flight that he's going to be able to handle. A lot of these guys, if you do have that distance and that higher ball flight, can cut some of the corners on these dog legs. And the one thing that Bryson has that's better than Rory and Scotty is a more consistent putter, and we've seen that matter time and time again here at Quail Hollow. You want to be long off the tee, solid on approach, and you're going to have to make putts to win this week. So I love Bryson. I did a great guest spot on Bet on Chicago with Mike Palm last week where I said, grab the number now. I made the mistake, Mike, and I waited too long because the numbers have reset, and I was only able to get plus 950 on them. Should have bet it when I said I was going to with you. Waited too long, dragged my feet. So I am in on Bryson, though, outright in the top 5 with him.
All right. And how about JT at 22-1?
Yeah, JT, I've been on him a lot. Hit on him at the RBC Heritage, was on him last week. Really like where his game is at right now. The approach game is back. He's back to being one of the best approach players on the PGA Tour. The putter, he's gained in putting, I believe, in 5 straight tournaments, where he's at right now with the putter, which is something that has always been a major concern for him. The one concern I have with him is we've seen him this year spray with the driver and not be totally accurate with it. He's got to clean that up this week, I think, if he's really going to contend. But he has the distance to contend with these other guys at the top of the board and to set himself up to score on these par 5s, which you have to do. The 2 par 5s here are about the only holes that you're going to, or 3 par 5s, the only holes here that you can consistently birdie that have higher than 30% birdie rates. We have a couple long par 4s or shorter par 4s that are drivable for some of these guys that might be able to pick up some shots, but the par 5 scoring is crucial, and that is something that all the guys that we've run through so far are very, very good at.
Kelly, JT 22-1, so is Xander Schauffele, but you're going to play him a couple different ways.
Yeah, Xander, I look, he's rounding into form. I was concerned and stayed away from him at the beginning of the season. He was coming off that rib injury. And, you know, I don't play a ton of golf. I haven't played any professionally, guys, but it seems like ribs are kind of painful to practice swinging a golf club through. So I gave him some time, and now he's really rounding back into form. We've seen him in his past tournaments, T11 last week, T18 at the RBC Heritage. He was a top 10 at the Masters, T12 at the Valspar the week before that. He's gained on approach in every single one of those. His distance off the tee has picked up big time. So I'm not willing to go and place an outright bet on him quite yet. I don't hate you if you want to see him over 20-1, but I think a top 20 play is a great bet this week. You're getting him around -110, -115 is where I bet him. So I really like Xander there this week.
How about some Corey Connors props?
I love Corey Connors. This guy has, as much as we wanted to hit on him in the past, he can't win, and that's still kind of true. The win equity is not very high with a Corey Connors, but the results are just consistent. He's not a guy who's long off the tee, but every other part of the game he's really picked up. He is accurate off the tee. The approach game has been awesome. The long iron game especially has been really good, and even the putter has been better for him this year, which is really, really crucial. He's played at Quail. The last 2 times he finished T13 and 8th solo, and his recent results have been fantastic. T11 last week, T49 at the RBC Heritage, okay, elevated event, that's fine. Top 10 at the Masters, T18 at Valero, T8 at Valspar, T6 at the Players, 3rd at the Arnold Palmer. It has just been consistent top 10, top 20 finishes with Connor. So I'm going to play him in the top 20 market. I'm playing him in the top 30 market, and I played him as the top Canadian this week at +160. I really like that prop out there.
Did you fade Morikawa? And how about fading Koepka, who hasn't finished top 15 in a major the last 7 tries?
Yeah, there's Koepka concerns for me, and Spieth's game might not be the perfect fit for this golf course, but man, he is doing everything else pretty well right now. And yeah, -132, don't love laying that with Jordan Spieth, but I'm going to attack Koepka this week. And Morikawa, this is really a price play. Schauffele and Thomas, I just have rated significantly higher right now than where Morikawa is at. I'm not saying he can't get back to what we saw with him last year, but it's been a little inconsistent. He doesn't have the same distance off the tee as those guys. So I do like Schauffele and Thomas playing against them, against Morikawa in matchups this week.
All right. Good luck, my friend. Great to talk to you. Enjoy the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Kelly Bidlin, Long Shots. Check it out. And he's on the Progressive Guest Line. A lot of matchups. Get all those plays up there, VSiN.com. Wes Reynolds' write-up is available. Everything he likes. And Indy Jeff Seeley will be on tomorrow with all his PGA picks as well. Boy, it's been rough for Koepka here. Mercy. That's bad. The stuff on Schauffele, too. Top 10 last 5 majors. Defending champ. Runner-up last 2 at Quail Hollow. Strong. Looks like Rory with the course history. Bet the Preakness Stakes now with First Bet and get rewarded. New customers use promo code VSiN200. Get a 20% rebate on all wagers for the first 60 days, up to $200. Win or lose, you get paid back. FirstBet.com. Download it today. Get the app and use promo code VSiN200. Promo code VSiN200. You cannot be serious in 10 minutes. Up next, NFL, the schedule, the games, and we have lines.
And we're out.
Okay, give me 1 sec. I need to load funds into my gaming apps.
Stormy, really?